I know you're going to recommend your own podcast, which you should. Can you just tell us a little bit about your podcast? It's
Yeah.
new-ish, correct?
Huh? Yeah.
It's new-ish.
Yeah. We started it 36 weeks ago, whatever that was.
Oh, wow.
Um, so
Okay.
we have one episode a week. It's called The Lab. It is essentially one-stop shop for everything queer and fitness related, is what we're
Wow.
trying to make it. So we talk about different topics. We bring in a lot of guests who have things that we think would be useful for other people to
Sure.
hear. So, we try to be very open in the kind of guests we bring in. So we have a lot of trans guys because we're trans guys and know a lot. We have
Yeah.
a couple other queer people. We try to keep it a wide range of like athlete types. So like
Sure.
bodybuilders, powerlifters, strongmen.
Okay.
This
Okay.
week we're bringing on a rugby player.
Oh, wow.
We try to keep it um, open and
Sure.
wide ranging. But again, we're really focused on building that community of like-minded queer people who are
Okay.
doing great things in fitness and with their
Yeah.
fitness. Um,
Yeah. I mean, I listened to one or two of them the other day when I was working, and I think I was working out. But it, I think the ones that I like the most in terms of podcasts are like when you can tell that people get along with each other. I don't know if that like you can feel the relationship, and you two are kind of just going back and forth, like chit chatting, but also you're excited, and it keeps people listening and intrigued. I think
yeah.
it's how I feel. I don't know if that's something that resonates for like you and him as well.
That's what I like. So I used to be a huge podcast listener because I worked alone all the time. So it was like I would put people in my ears and like
Yeah,
I just wanted to hear like friends talk. Like I'm
sure,
naturally. So like that's kind of fun to me. It's just like listening to people talk
sure.
about interesting topics, and that's essentially what our podcast is. It's
Got
just
it.
two
Yeah.
friends recording a podcast about things that we nerd out about,
Hmm.
and talking to people who are equally nerdy about the
Yeah.
topic.
Yeah. Who are equally excited, right? And the fact that you can keep getting like multiple different like trans folk who are interested or part of fitness or part of sports, like we're talking almost a year you've been doing this, about a little more than half a year at this point. Like that's
Yeah,
pretty awesome.
yeah. We have a lot of fun with it, and again, we're really trying to focus on building that community. We want our listeners to feel welcome and that they're not alone because it can be such a lonely journey if you're not in a coastal city.
You're right. You're right. I mean, that's the podcast, the training, the relationship, right? They're all trying to just build like feeling less alone in like the world that can feel really scary and it is marginalized.
Yeah,
Um, and then how do people get a hold online? I know Instagram, but are there other ways to kind of find out more about you or work with you?
yeah, absolutely. So I have a website. It's called constantevolutionfit.com.
Okay.
My handle on Instagram is Kel underscore yeah 13. Um, and those are the easiest ways to get a hold of me. Those will have links to all of the podcast episodes where you can find those.
Got it.
Um, yeah, so that's the best parts.
Okay. Okay. And is there anything that like I know I asked you a lot, but like should have you want to share that I didn't ask or that you want people to know kind of?
I think that's everything. I just want people to realize that fitness isn't a bad thing. It
Mm,
isn't. Um, it can be hard, um, definitely, but you can do hard things. And even if it's hard, it doesn't mean that you're not supposed to do it, and or that you can't. Uh, Start
yeah.
small, and you can get where you're going.
Yeah. Start with some like kind of what you said, start with some small steps, literally and figuratively, I think is kind of yeah.
It doesn't take a lot to get big changes.
Okay. That's good to know. Well, thank you. I really appreciate this. Like it does mean a lot to me. And I think it'll
Absolutely.
mean a lot to people. It's a big deal. I mean, this is why I like doing these kind of interviews is just like getting to know people's, it's very different than reading a blog. Just like listening to a podcast is very different than reading it, right? You're putting a face to it and you're really getting a feel of like what you're like. And It makes people feel really comfortable. But truly, thanks for like doing what you're doing in general. And I love that you said it's not competition among like trans trainers and fitness advocates. Like we really are just taking care of community, each of us in different ways.
Absolutely. And I think you nailed it on the head. It's like everything's so personal. You just have to find the person that you vibe with, right?
Mm-hmm. I feel that about therapy. Like when clients talk to me on the phone, I'm like, if I'm not the right fit and you want to work with somebody else, like I'm happy to recommend other LGBTQ affirming therapists. And like, it's my ego's not in the game. Like you taking care of yourself is. And people are like, what? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I'm really sorry whoever said like you better work with me, but like that's maybe I'm not the right fit, and that's okay, right? That's okay to say that to me, and someone else isn't a fit for someone else isn't a good fit for you, right? And that's the whole point. We're all here. We're all here for the same reason too.
Right. And I think that scarcity mindset though, everybody thinks I'm like it's not. The world's not scarce. There's a lot of us.
Yeah. I love it. I love it for sure. Well, thank you. I really appreciate it.
No problem. I appreciate it. I had a lot of fun. It was good talking to you. Let's
Same
keep
here.
in touch.
Yeah, of course, of course.